Hello everyone, I am Tacit and welcome to the Gems of War Guild Wars week 97, day 6, of course the last day of this Guild War week. We got ourselves some green Guild War day. Before we do get into that, we will be going over all of the spoilers for the week as well, like the fact we got a haircut nuts. But yeah, I meant to the other day and I just never got around to it, but did today. Before we did the other stream, oddly enough, too. We had it this morning, though probably most people didn't see it, but anyone who did stop by, we did already have it back then as well. But anyways, let's go over all the spoilers for the week. I don't think there's as much this time around, though I actually haven't checked them, so I do not know. Though I know generally like what we have going on next week. Let's see, though I can't remember if we have a Friday pet or not, but let's go bring it up, see if the world event is as annoying as it always is, and go from there. So, first things first, let's go see the latest news. Check out the My Metal Pony, which is kind of funny because this is not from the Adana. This is from Way Home, even though it is indeed a mech. So it's kind of rare that we get in other locations. But as far as what it does, it is a 12 mana cost green-blue, and it converts all red gems to green, which you would almost think this would be an empower option, however it is not, and all yellow to brown. So it's basically a double convert. It's a fast double convert, which is kind of interesting. So instead of going down the empower route, it's a double converter that isn't a skull-related one. Most double converters in the game are 18 mana costs legendaries that convert a color to skulls and a color to a different color. And sometimes they have a mana star, sometimes they don't. The ones that do are pretty decent. But this thing's kind of interesting in that it has a much lower mana cost, but has two different converts. Of course, red to green, and then yellow to brown. Green does go back into itself. And this basically makes it a little bit like a mana accumulating Divine Ishbala. I'm curious to see exactly how this pans out, as this isn't actually useless. It's 6 mana cost to get going, so you don't even need to use it with mech or a beast-related team. You can simply use it as a standalone thing in any team. It gets to convert red to green, which means it's mana accumulating for itself, as well as every green ally you have. And it has yellow to brown. So basically you can be an anti-yellow team as well. So red-yellow, pretty decent synergy as well as far as what it counters. They tend to be used quite often. There's even a storm that's red-yellow. So just decent capability overall, I would say, for this troop. It's definitely going to have to take a little bit of messing around with. But I have a feeling this thing can actually be really, really, really good. It might even get used in Guild War here and there. Of course, we're not getting it till tomorrow, so no way to use it in Guild War this week, unfortunately. But next Guild War, it is worth potentially considering. It would definitely be more of a green day kind of option, unless you're just using like one big other green on a blue day. I don't know, I'm curious to see what kind of PvP teams and stuff can end up getting created out of it. It definitely has a lot of potential, though I'm not sure it's going to outpace things like other empowers and stuff. Also, a lot of the double converters, the fact that they do end up doing skulls is one of the bigger aspects that actually make them relevant. And the fact that this doesn't, even though it's a lot of mana accumulation, it might just get outpaced by other mana accumulators, as tends to be the case with most things. Anyways, hello everyone, by the way. I didn't even say hello to all the people. Hello, Isabel. Hello, Gimli. Hello, Hollywood. Hello, Peter. Hello, Defiant. Hello, NASA. Hello, Sushi Ninja. Hello, Tyrion. Hello, Mister. Hello, Dwight. Hello, Bill. Hello, Cookie. Hello, Isabel. I said Isabel. Hello, Imperial. Hello, Bill. Hello, Jonian. Hello, Pamela. Hello, Daniel. Hello, Reds. Also, Supplement's not here tonight. I hope he had a good birthday. Well, by now, it's probably the end of his birthday already. It was his birthday today. Anyways. Where were we? So, this is a triple phase 1 where it has the lower battles for the earlier stages, then more of the battles, then all 6 of them. So, it seems to go 3, 5, 6, which mostly means if none of them are scaling, it should just be mostly rarity order. Each trick is worth 2... in the final phase, as the battles, a Sparkinator. So Sparkinator, oh, but Sparkinator's already the best room. So always take Sparkinator, rarity order. So just don't take High Paladin and try not to take Sir Alamir. Alright, that's easy. Yeah, it's straightforward. It's basically just rarity order, don't take High Paladin. You might need to know some of the other low ones for the earlier phases, because the first 30 battles you might have not High Paladin and might need to remember to also not take Sir Alamir. But basically, if it begins with S or is High Paladin, don't take it. I guess is a way to consider. I don't know. I would say just remember High Paladin's the worst and Sir Alamir's the second worst. And if you remember that, you're probably taking the right room. Because I highly doubt there's a situation where all three of them wouldn't be present within a cycle. It's also only relevant for the first 30. Because beyond the first 30, just don't take High Paladin. You're taking the correct room at that point. Just always take the Sparkinator. Never take High Paladin. And if you can help it, also try not to take Sir Alamir. But High Paladin is the lowest priority, of course. Yeah, that should be pretty straightforward. Okay, it's not that bad. It's a little bit weird with the 30 battle one. I like when it's all like available immediately. But you do have to go through 30 battles before you actually get to that final battle that starts giving you the bigger amount of points there. Meaning people will get a lot of sigils, going to be getting a lot of extra bonus. Anyways, so that's the event for the week. Overall, not the worst. Interesting to see how the troop ends up panning out. Has a lot of build potential, and I'm curious to see what ends up happening with it. Definitely going to have to show at least a team for it. I don't always show a team for the Glory troop every single week. However, this is definitely in the category of, we definitely should cover at least a team for it. I'm not sure if we're going to cover a whole video, but definitely at least one team. Anyways, so next thing, Terran's board. So, of course, if I could type a T, we can go over here and check all the other things we got going on. So as far as things going on this week, I actually do not know what's in here. Of course, we're finishing up the Vault weekend. We still have we still have 7 more hours. Well, technically 6 hours, 45 minutes. But that's still going on right now, and we'll be grinding it as soon as we finish out Guild War and finish this. World event we just went over. Faction is for White Helm, which means it's, let's see if I can remember what it is without looking at it. It should be Hall of Guardians. Yeah, Hall of Guardians. Wednesday, we have the Pet Rescue for Sacred Cub, which I believe is not Divine. It's White Helm, yeah. Because the Peace Stove is Divine. Thursday, obviously, we have the class event for it, which is the Priest Career class, which is pretty situational as to when you would use Priest. I personally feel like it's not used that often. The biggest issue with it is it doesn't really excel at anything. Like, it's not a bad class. It's just other classes are so good that in comparison, you pretty much almost never use it. Even if you need like a really heavy yellow option, it's just not good enough normally. Not to mention, ever since Divine Ishbala got nerfed, it's a lot less viable to run it. Because normally when you do run Priest, you're running with Divine Ishbala. And now that's 40% Mana Star instead of 50%. It has been for years now. It's definitely a lot less viable ever since then. Aside from that, Invasions is going to be this weekend, which means we're probably getting a new weapon. As these things normally bring in a new weapon. Let me double check before I check that, though. Are we getting a Pet Rescue this weekend? We are not, unfortunate. Okay, we haven't had a pet weekend for a while. Mostly because we had so many vaults recently, including vault weekends like now. But anyways, that does mean we're probably getting a new weapon, so let me double check what that weapon is. And we are indeed getting a new weapon this Friday. It is the Amherst Band. As far as what it does, it explodes. Another one of the explodey weapons. It explodes magic +1 green gems, then grants a random status effect to all elves. So basically it's an elf explodey ring. Does it have any other good options? Oh, cleanse. Interesting. It's a cleanse, 1 extra mana, gold gainer, and also a little bit of vital there for life. But the most relevant thing there is probably cleanse. Do we have one of these yet? I don't think we do. It's basically Gorgultha. It's yellow-purple Gorgultha. That's funny. That is basically yellow-purple Gorgultha. Though the only caveat is it has to only explode green, whereas Gorgultha can explode everything. But it's basically makes hero into yellow-green or yellow-purple Gorgultha. That is funny. Which is almost all Gorgultha's colored to begin with. And it has resummon. Specifically to elves, as well as elf synergy. So that's potential. I don't think it's going to be used in, like in, you know, like with Weaver. Like, you definitely wouldn't replace out Life and Death to run this, that's for sure. But there are some contexts where you might be able to bring it out. It's just the Weaver Life and Death combo is already so strong for elf. Or, you know, with the 50% elf bonus and then, like, one other empower. That it's hard to beat it out. So I'm not sure it's going to be used in the elf team. I think it's more so going to be used as a hero Gorgultha. Because this is the first explodey weapon with cleanse, right? Like one that naturally has a cleanse. I'm pretty sure it is. I do not recall any other weapon that has that combination. Which basically means you can now run hero as Gorgultha, which is kind of cool. Because Gorgultha is already pretty good. Obviously you can have half mana start on hero pretty easily. As well as a billion other perks. So that made Gorgultha a little bit less viable. Anyways. Oh, you finally got the Horde Mimic card. Nice. Congrats, Eric. That's huge. I'm still hunting for mine. Based on odds, we're not even halfway there. Hopefully, we'll get there soon. But anyways, that's all the things happening next week. Of course, we'll go over Soulforge and all that good stuff on tomorrow's video. Anyways, what am I looking for here? I am looking for grinding. Oh, actually, no. We wanted to go do Guild Wars. I knew there was something. I knew there was something I was forgetting. We still got Green Guild War this week. So we're doing pretty good as a guild. Looks like we are going to make either top 3 or top 4. Top 4 we stay. Top 3, I don't remember if we go up or not. Let's see, how many battles do we have in? Oh, for a second I thought that was the guild progress. It's like, wait, no one in my guild did battles? No, that's my progress. Okay, looks like 2 people didn't do their battles. Well, technically 3. 2.5. 1 person didn't do their last battle, and us and someone else hasn't done their battles for today. I wonder who that is. Well, we know who one of them are. Who's the other one? Looks like Corrado. All good. Let's see. Are one of the only ones left? At least we're not the only one. That'd be kind of weird if we were like literally the last one left to do our battles. Actually, their score's a bit low, isn't it? Because even if they, not too low. Because if they do 5-0 today, that'd be a 4,000 something, or 40. It'd be around like a 48 or so. So that's not too bad. We're at a 52, assuming we do okay today. Like around a 52, 53,000, which is fine. Not sure it's going to be ultra high in our guild, though. We'll see where it places. We've been doing a lot safer teams for those 5-0s to try to get a pure 5-0 week, but we end up losing that one day, unfortunately. Anyways, it's Green Guild War Day. Let's go switch to a Green Guild War Day, make sure all of our things are correct. I believe we went over it last night. Yeah, we did. We're currently running a Essence of Evil Weaver team. Basically, we're banking on getting as much Leprechaun value as we possibly can, Essence of Eviling whatever the biggest threat is, and then just pretty much winning from there. That is the game plan. We're currently running 20% into 8 magic, which I think is perfectly fine because we can't really get a proper mana start into this team. I guess we could kind of try an elf. Actually, you know what? This would be a really interesting instance to try that new weapon we don't currently have. Instead of running Essence of Evil, though I think Essence of Evil is a bit safer in this context, running something like that elf weapon. I don't know, that elf weapon's just going to be hard to use. Like, it's not a bad weapon. I just think it's going to be hard to try to use with other elves. Because other elves already have a strategy that do not involve using that weapon at all. Anyways, let's double check that it is indeed Green Day. It is indeed Green Day. Oh yeah, how did our Green defend do? 1-4. Actually, there's only one day where we completely lost, and it was the Divinish Ball. Oh, why do I still have that weapon? That's why. Why on earth? I meant to switch this, and I completely forgot. I meant to switch this into book. But yeah, that team did horrible today. Yeah, we'll need to swap out something. Like, as far as teams I'm pretty happy with, I would say it is all of them, except for Blue Day and Purple Day as far as my defense. Actually, I could end up changing Green Day too. It's banking on a very, very big gimmick of book work. Like, if book doesn't work, we just lose. Which is concerning with it. But yeah, I think we need to consider changing blue and Purple Day. Possibly reluck green, though green, I think green can work. It's banking a lot on book working though. And I hate having book in that location. I almost want the team structured in a way that we could put book in 3rd slot. I think it's fine. Anyways, let's get into our battle. It is indeed Green Day, Green Day, Green Day, and that is a green team. I would be wearing a green shirt, but we have a green screen. Let's see. Yeah, this should be fine. Let's get into it. Hello, Logic Slayer. Hello, Matt. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, Eric, I can't believe you got the Horde Mimic. Such an achievement. We'll have it some point. Oh, speaking about double empower team. Yeah, that's kind of the same premise, except with Forest Troll front. Which, what's the trade-off then? The trade-off would have been, you have better tankiness in place of... Why can I not remember? Oh! Wait, what did I have as my other option now? Now that I'm looking at that team, I can't think of what my other option was on mine. He has purple to green, which is very bad. There's no way I can counter all of it. Which is bad for our mana. Though we might be fine here. He's going to get a good double green here, which is kind of scary. If he could ever miss, we might have a chance here. Good thing he's entangled. We're in a bit of an entangle war here. Okay. We need as much value as we could possibly get. So we need green very, very, very badly here. Is there any way we could try to get green? I actually want to take it that way, as we had slightly better chance of getting green. Unfortunately, there's no way we could take green here. Or, you know, green while extra turning to full mana. So I kind of want to take a skull poke, get our green there. Hope he goes for skull and not double on green, and we should be okay. Which could take it this way. Oh, but then that gives him extra turn skull. Oh no. Never mind, I shouldn't have taken it that way. Oh, I gotta lose this one. Yeah, I see the forest troll point now. That gets a lot of value there, gosh. Maybe we should consider that. What do I currently run as my option there? Now that I'm looking at like a forest troll version of it. What on earth do I have there? Oh yeah, I went for Wild Queen. That's not a bad way to go for it. Like, you get the extra skull, but Forest Troll might be way better for control. Because once it gets that extra double, you kind of just win with it. Ideally, what you want to have is a freeze, which almost makes me want to switch out Archer. Like, this one runs Weaver. Like, it's pretty flexible what you can do for the slot. Like, it's up for what you want to do specifically, as there are more than one option that works for it. But that Forest Troll one, that is quite devastating when it works, gosh. But there's no one answer to that team, of course. And of course, it's going to lose here. We have enough disables to just auto-win here. So we do this, get the other one completely disabled, and we basically just won. So his two most important troops can't do anything at the moment. We cast this, get everything rolling. Basically get them into the kill range. And I believe that is kill range because he doesn't have spell reduction on the other one. The only problem is that mana drain. Gosh, books. If they want to try starting to balance Guild War, they need to remove all books and double empower. Which is pretty much the entire team we're looking at right now. But if they want to try to attempt to balance Guild War, I would love to see a Guild War week where book and double empower is not usable at all, under any circumstance, either offensively or defensively. Let's see. So we can get a Weaver here. The more ideal one would actually be doing this if it lands extra turn. The problem is it didn't, but then we could Weaver and then we're fine. Now Weaver again. Book burning. Burn all the books. Book is so annoying. I'm not sure which one is worse. Actually, let's pull it. Which one is worse? Double empower, book, or... No, just those two. I'm not going to have a funny third because it might get overvoted. But which one do you guys think is, like, legitimately worse? I know they're normally used together, but which one do you think is worse? Which mechanic do you find to be more annoying in Guild Wars? Let's see. 2 times empower or mana draining books. I'm pretty sure if I put that text there, you guys will know what I mean. Because they don't have like one solid name. It's all the Tome Doom weapons. So I guess you could put down Tome Doom weapons. But I think mana draining books is more so equivalent to what they are. So here's another variant of that team. Interesting. Although I honestly have to say, Forest Troll one seemed like the most effective. The very first one that we actually lost against. Because once it gets going, if you can get a good enough start, you just win. It gets hard countered by freeze, but we didn't have a freeze. But in all fairness, a lot of these do. But then you also hope on the freeze, and you also hope that they don't get cleanse. Speaking of which, let me go make sure he can't cleanse. Which is one of the reasons for Essence of Evil as well, is to make sure we do have that as an option. Oh wait, he's running Monk right now. I could just do this. I could just Essence of Evil as Essence of Evil. And now we won. It's basically over. And that's match. But I need to remember to go change that team. Oh, we got a tentacle. I think I need more copies of that. That's a relatively new one. You heard it here. Tacit wants to ban books. Ban all the books now. I was talking about it some on the other stream too. But I feel like Gems of War, Guild Wars needs a rule set. Like a rotating rule set like how Pokemon tournaments have. Like the casual one, or like the super competitive ones. I think the super competitive ones might have one too. But like the casual one that rotate every season. Like it has a different rule set as to like what cards or, you know, what Pokemon, which is the equivalent of cards in this game, that you can actually use in any given rule set. Where you can only bring like a certain amount of like really good ones and stuff like that. And banning like certain mechanics. And Gems of War Guild Wars needs that for Empower. So badly. Like there's so many, there's a decent handful of mechanics that just should not be allowed in Guild Wars. Or at least like have a rotating system where you can't just always run that mechanic every single time. Just so we have more variety in Guild Wars. Yeah, double Empower is really scary. Because even if you counter one, what are you doing about the other one? Like, it leads to a lot of situations where you just turn one lose. Because that's basically what happened to our one lose today. Or one loss. Like, we just didn't have a way to deal with the Empower, and Forest Troll started going crazy with Book. It's hard to say which one I actually hate more, though. Because double Empower wouldn't be as annoying without Book. And Book wouldn't be as annoying without double Empower. Though teams would still be good without Book. So I would say double Empower is probably the stronger mechanic. Like, Book, when it works correctly, is absurdly strong. But double Empower would work regardless of if Book existed. Like, Book just makes it even worse. But double Empower would still be strong even if Book wasn't around. Like, you don't need Book to run double Empower. Like, a lot of double Empowers run with Book, but they don't need Book to function. That's still pretty good. An 8,000 something score with a... If you're scoring over 8,000 with one win, that's a pretty solid one loss. So I'll take it. It looks like we're going to make 4th place. I'm not even sure. Does anyone actually know? Does 3rd place bracket 3 move up? I actually don't know. I don't think we're getting it. But I don't even remember. Because I know it starts to have like a really weird system once you get to like the other 3 brackets. And I can't for the life of me remember what on earth it is. Like what the cutoff point is. But regardless, I think we'll be ever so slightly short. Because even if the other person goes flawless, that's not going to be enough to cover it. So it looks like we're going to be bracket 4 again, which is fine. Though that would be funny if we eventually get all the way back to like bracket 2 or 1 or something. Though I don't feel like we'd ever get back to bracket 1. Bracket 1 is brutal. It's also ran basically by one guild. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Because the other one didn't move up. So there are 4 guilds that are pretty much like all together in bracket 1 right now. Almost 5. Because this one tried to, but they kind of placed the same way that we did. Where they, you know, hit like the middle of the bracket or so. Like the upper middle. They have some really solid scores though, despite that. Like, they made middle of the bracket with 1,426,000. Which would have won 1st place in bracket 4. Plus their battles are harder. Anyways, oh gosh, I keep clicking that every single guild, or every single Vault weekend. I always click on that thinking like, oh, there's loot here. And I end up clicking on it, and it's like, oh, never mind, there's not loot here. Hey, what's the flash offer this weekend? Oh, that was that one useless one. That one's not that good of one. But speaking of not too good, gosh, we don't even have a good daily adventure board thing. Let's see, did I get good offers? Probably not. Nope. Nothing's good. Oh, well, let's go do Diamond Day, and then let me go do the pet before I forget, because I will forget. And then we'll go mess with the grinds. Maybe go bring out the timer as well. But yeah, also, I should go change out one defend team before I forget. I actually want to see how it performs with Forest Troll. Because that's the only other team we lost to today. And out of every variant of double Empower, between mine and the ones that I saw today, I do have to say, I think Forest Troll seems very enticing. So I'm going to put a Forest Troll there and see how it does next Guild War Day. It's similar to what we're already running, but a little bit different, just to see how it performs. It's the same premise. They're both creating a bunch of green, except the other one's a green skull. Just synergize with the other green skull. But you can do it just all for green, because there's already going to be so many green on the board. The only way it would backfire is if they deny their green. Though it's very unlikely they're going to deny their own green on a green guild war. There are some green teams that can do that, though, and still function. Because there are some green troops that even deny all green and try to utilize it that way. I'm looking for Guild War Green Defense, because I actually do want to try that variant. Obviously, we won't know till next Guild War, but let's give it a shot. Not sure what hero class they use, but there's a couple that would work. Oh wait, that's my Guild War Green. I don't want that one. I want my Defend Green. So if we replace out Wild Queen there, move that up. We would want to have Book in 3rd. This also allows us to put Book further down, which is nice. We probably want to keep Thief. Thief because we need Stealthy. Like, Titan is slightly tempting to get that mana start. However, if we're already going crazy, mana's not going to be an issue. So I think we do want to keep Thief because it's really important we have a Stealthy hero class. This also gets that random insta-kill, which if it hits, you win. It has the extra Hieronif summon to be even more annoying, though we could go for Dodge. I'd rather be more annoying. Stealthy is required. Backup makes it more annoying. That makes it more annoying. What's the weapon even? Oh yeah, it's a book. You don't have anything you can do for that. And then Hunter's Mark for the extra skull damage off the billion skulls we'll be creating. Yeah, we'll keep it as Thief. It's pretty important to run Stealthy on Book, as well as on most hero classes. Especially Rope Dart and stuff, because otherwise your Rope Dart gets Rope Darted. But, yeah, Stealthy is probably one of the strongest hero class traits. Because you get it pretty much for free off of just a tree, which is really nice. Which makes some of the Stealthy hero classes some of the best in the game. I would say Thief overall is one of the best Guild War ones. You tend to not use Thief offensively as much. But it has a lot of resummon, the most in the entire game, having 3 different ones, which I have all 3 set. We have 25% chance whenever we cast, we summon. We have a 35% chance when something dies, it gets replaced. So all these resummons will have a 1/3 chance to just be resummoned again, just as a bandit instead. And a 20% chance whenever you get a kill to also resummon. This one happens probably the least of the 3. However, it can still happen, and compared to the other 2, it's generally the way we go. Because that mana starts basically nothing. You can just run 20% and have more. And 5 extra gold is super situational and not used on this team for any boost ratio, so we wouldn't need it. But yeah, we'll try that and see how that goes for next Defend Green. It's basically what we lost to against. I'm not sure if this was the exact format, but very similar. And if they weren't running Thief, I'm pretty sure they were running something pretty similar to that build. Though I didn't see them actually do any resummon, though I'm not sure we got enough kills to even see it resummon. Let's see. What do teams do better to get such high scores? You have to get a lot of mana loop very quickly to get around a 9,600 or so. They're normally slightly riskier teams at times, but they score way higher. Like a lot of the teams I ran this week were a lot more of a safer variant of teams, where our chance of winning is much higher, but our score that we get overall is a bit lower. But you have to get really good damage while simultaneously doing a lot of mana really quickly. Like, you can't just go all in on one or the other. Let's see. There could be if you didn't grab the legendary task. Wait, what? Oh, wait, did I not do my gold this week? I always forget sometimes. Like, every single time I don't do it Monday night, I definitely forget to donate my gold. But nope, looks like everyone did their gold. Some people did a lot of gold as well. Anyways. Oh, Aloko gave one of those things, too. One of those guildmate gifts things. Actually, I should go give Aloko one. Actually, that might be a good way to go get ourselves some gems. But they give one of those guild. Actually, that Guild War thing doesn't give something directly to everyone anymore. I almost forgot it even still marks it there. Where even is it? Wait, how do I get there again? Hold up. But yeah, I keep forgetting that marker's even there sometimes. It shows for the entire week when someone does it. However, it doesn't really give a benefit to the entire guild anymore, like it used to. Oh, there we go. Because before it used to be a lot more beneficial, like guild-wide. But now it's more so beneficial to the person who actually gets it, which kind of makes sense. Because obviously, you know, as the person who's spending money to get it, we would kind of assume you'd get the most amount of benefit from it. But I feel like it gives way less to your overall guild now. Because it used to give you, like, guild keys and stuff like that before. Hey, we're exactly 69. Oh, never mind, this is a 60. Never mind, looks like a 9. Anyways, let's go do Let's go do some standard Explore 12 grinding. Then we might go do some Vault grinding. See if we can get some Paloozas rolling. That is not the team I want. Oh yeah, I need to go grab the pet. I did forget about that. But before I do, I need to go win this fight with the wrong team. Yeah, I believe I do need the tentacle. I'm not 100% certain, but it definitely looks like one we do not have all the copies of. Are we actually going to win off of bleed? That's kind of funny. It's one really weird mechanic that Slayer has that I definitely underestimated initially. The amount of cleanup you get off the bleed from Slayer is actually pretty insane. Like, you wouldn't expect a few damage to be enough to clean a lot of battles, but the amount of times it actually does the finishing blow and saves you time is super absurdly high. You wouldn't really think it, given that it's normally like 10-ish damage. But it's 10-ish damage in any mode, like even on Explore 1, so it can be pretty devastating at times. But even at the higher range, it cleans up pretty well. Anyways, let me go do that pet, because I will forget if I don't go do it right now. And I'm pretty sure I need copies of this thing. Oh yeah, gosh, I need 21 copies. I think we should probably do it. Question, is the full Tarot card available in Soulforge? No. I am almost certain it is not. Though I cannot 100% confirm, but I'm almost certain it is not in drop table. So I would not bother trying to go for it yet. I do not recall any announcement that said it was in drop table. Unless this week ended up doing so, though I don't believe it did. Oh, why did I X out of it? I should have kept the page open. Not sure why I X'd out of it earlier. But, I am near certain that the full is not. Because it came out pretty recently. And I never recalled anything saying that it was. So if anyone has seen it in the drop table, do let me know. But I am pretty certain the full is not in the drop table. If anyone's been opening a lot of all keys, let me know. Because I could be incorrect, but I'm pretty sure it is not in the drop table yet. So don't try opening for it. But yeah, the full's not that bad. It has a weird, like, jumble shuffle kind of mechanic. In the right team, it can actually be an okay card. Though I'm not sure exactly what they're doing with all these tarot cards, because the last several have had no purpose whatsoever. A lot of the original tarot cards were all having some kind of like mythic or some weapon or some other thing that they can be used for. However, recently, tarot cards have had no purpose, which is weird because this only is pretty recent. Like the last half year, tarot cards haven't really had much of a purpose. Like the last one that had a really big purpose was the one for Halloween, so up until the end of October. But November onwards, I believe every tarot card in that last like 5-month period have not had any purpose whatsoever. Every tarot card from November to now have had no purpose currently other than, you know, just using them. So I'm not sure what their plan is for all the tarot cards. Maybe they're just not going to have a purpose anymore. Because if their base ability is what they're going to be used for, most of them are pretty bad. Like really, really bad. Like the full is one of those few exceptions where it's a really gimmicky card that you could sometimes get away with the mechanic. Nothing else it's fun to mess around with. But it's not like super viable. None of the tarot cards are. A lot of them are like really low mana cost, potential extra turn, really gimmicky things. Or they just do something so little that you might as well just use a better version of it rather than something with such a low mana cost. Because they do so little when they actually do something that even if they extra turn, it barely even matters because you're getting so little value from it when it does do the thing. You've been away for about a year. Is it a good time to come back? Yeah, you haven't actually missed much in the last year. Like, obviously, they keep still updating things, but a lot of things were actually really good. The most relevant thing that you probably missed is no more Paloozas exist. One's actually going on right now, a Vault event. So basically, you already know what Vault events are. There are weekends where you get a lot of loot because all the gnomes and everything, the increased rate of Vault keys, the increased rate of gnomes. Imagine if that got buffed by about 10 times. That is what Vault events are now. It's still going on for like 6 more hours. Good time to go grind it. Like right now. But, yeah, basically imagine if Vault events were about 10 times stronger. That's essentially what Nomapaloozas are. Basically what you have to do is grind low-level Explore. Though you could do it on A Explore, but the quicker you win, the better. Similar to how it's always kind of been. But basically, go kill like Explorer level 1 with like a Rowan team or something, or the quickest team you have. There is Ironhawk now. I'm not sure if you were around when Ironhawk existed, but Ironhawk's also insane. Oh yeah, Ironhawk's in the event key drop table right now, isn't it? Go get Ironhawk in the event key drop table if you have event keys laying around. It makes the quickest win team in the entire game. So if we go over to Cinder Mirage, the best way to farm this new scroll that came in last year for the Nomapaloozas is to use a double Ironhawk team. And he's in the event key drop table right now for the next 6 hours. So if any of you haven't picked it up, definitely make sure to do so if you have any event keys laying around. Because this is the quickest win team in the entire game. We haven't been running it as much because we've been running other pieces of content a lot this week. However, this is the quickest way to win in the entire game. And it also is the quickest way to farm verse gnomes. So you can run Nomapaloozas, as well as just farm gnomes in general. Yeah, it's a very quick win. You can also get the one-shot win with the other variant. However, this is a little bit less viable during gnome events. You also can't run it for the Palooza itself because it doesn't do enough damage. This one does, because this one does 25, whereas the other one does 20. Plus, you need one less Ironhawk, so it's easier to get this way anyways. I basically just keep doing this until you get gnomes. There's been some vault events where we did this almost the entire time. You just get a lot of gnomes from it. Like there's a soul gnome dropping us 1,000, 2,500, 5,000 souls. There we go, mid-range. Yeah, it went very quick. It's about 50% quicker than Rowan. And the other really big mechanic that they added... Hey, there's the verse 2. So there's one of the verse gnomes I was talking about. Basically, if you find all 4 of them, you get a Nomapalooza. And this is actually the one I have the least of, which is very convenient. So whenever you get a full set of those 4 scrolls, that one was verse 2, there's 4 different ones, you can run a Nomapalooza. It is advised to get a timer, because for whatever reason, it does show a timer, but it shows in a location where like you never get to see it. And the main reason why this is relevant is if you actually stop the Nomapalooza when you on the very last loot, you'll get the full amount of loot for it. It's not too big a deal to have a timer for it, but it's nice to have because it lasts for 15 minutes. Each one lasts for 15 minutes. You can chain multiple together, but it's normally better to do it one at a time. Yeah, this was the biggest feature that they added, probably ever for loot. So once you get all 4, we got the red one right there, but once you get one of each, you then click the craft, and keep in mind, this timer keeps going down even if you lose connection. So don't lose connection. But anyways, we just go into a location and just destroy everything. So let's go do this, might as well. Do a Palooza. But this was probably the biggest feature added in the last year. There's been more than just this, however, this is probably the most relevant one, especially right now, given that's a vault weekend, literally as we speak, for another 6 hours. Yeah, this is the best time to ever farm, and this is the best way to farm in the entire game, is wait for a vault weekend and then use all your Paloozas, as well as farm Paloozas if you don't have any currently. And there's been some people probably doing this for like 30 plus hours this week. Tyrion. Or Tyrion, I should say. I always say your name wrong. Actually, how long did you farm for Vault Event? Because you were mentioning like you were farming pretty much all stream when we were streaming earlier. Which was like, what, a 9-hour stream or so? Because I'm pretty sure you're at like 30 plus hours grinding it this weekend. I don't tend to do it as much these days. Like, I still grind Vault weekends, but obviously, the more loot you have, the less need you have, necessarily, to grind Vault weekends. I know some people still enjoy it, though. But we're at a resource point where, like, obviously the loot's still insanely good, but it's not as needed as it would have been, obviously, when you have less loot. It's also probably the easiest way for newer players to catch up. The only problem is you can only do it during Vault events. Or at least the most effectively, because obviously this gives way less loot if you were to do it not during a Vault event. Including the Palooza itself is pretty much only ever used during Vault events. And the main reason for this is the higher chance of getting a Vault key still applies during a Vault event. So if you do a Palooza during then, all these gnomes will have a higher chance of dropping Vault keys. Which is the main reason why you want to do it during then. You're not sure how long, but you have over 700 Vault keys. That's pretty solid. If I had to guess, it's closer to like 20-25 hours then, right? Because I'm pretty sure 30 plus hours would already hit 1,000. I don't remember exactly. It also depends on what method you're doing. Like if you're running Explore 12 the whole time, you're going to get way less compared to doing really low rarity. Like if we're doing Explore 1 the whole time, it would obviously be way higher. But we were hunting for some mimics this week. Still trying to find it. Alright, that was another mechanic that was added pretty recently. Actually, that was the patch about a month ago. We got the introduction of mimics. It's basically just a buff to Explore 12. but it makes getting tokens slightly easier. It also brought in the rarest troop in the entire game that we still don't have after almost a month. We'll get it eventually, though. That's actually what that timer over there to the left is. Or not the timer in the corner, but the mimic counter. I believe you have to find about 100 mimics on average to actually get it. You don't have to, like, you can get lucky and find it on your very first one. But basically, it seems to be a 10% chance you get a 2x chest when you run Explorer. That gives you 2 times the loot. 10% chance that 2 times loot is then a 5 times boost. And then a 10% chance that in that 5 times boosted chest, that would times the tokens by 5 times, that you also end up getting a... Oh, there's a curse gnome, by the way. That you would also end up getting the new Horde Mimic. So the thing that we just killed is a curse gnome. That was added back in December. That was a big before end of year patch. And basically it revamped a lot of things in Soulforge, and pretty much everything that was revamped now costs those cursed runes that they end up adding into the game. Nothing's too important for cursed runes. It's a mechanic you can mostly ignore. I would say the main thing that's relevant about cursed runes is use them to upgrade your Soulforge. Soulforge now goes to level 20 instead of 10. And cursed runes are the currency used for it. You could do gems as well. However, it is substantially cheaper doing it with cursed runes. I personally did it with gems when it first came out, but you can also do it slowly with cursed runes over time. I believe it's 325 cursed runes you need for it. Otherwise, it's like a few thousand gems or something. I can't remember. Is every platform separate from each other? Kind of. PC Mobile is cross-platform, but every other version is its own independent version. So basically, if you're playing on a console, it's its own independent version. But if you're playing on PC or mobile, it is cross-platform with PC Mobile. Like right now, I'm on the Steam version, so I'm still playing with, like, I'm playing with mobile people as well on the PC version. But every console version is its own independent version. So PlayStation is its own, Xbox is its own, Switch is its own. Xbox 4 and 5, PS4 and 5 do have cross-platform with each other, though. I'm pretty sure most PlayStation games are like that. You've been on Xbox playing? I don't know. A lot of people still enjoy playing on other platforms. I would say to a newer player, if you're still on a somewhat fresh account, that I do personally feel like the PC mobile version's like the best way to go. But I don't know. Whatever your preferences works. I know there's still people that play for like years upon years on the console versions. Each one has their advantage. Like PlayStation and Xbox would mostly be for the convenience. Switch is interesting in that it is the newest of the platforms. So theoretically, it is potentially the most new player friendly. But I'd say the PC mobile version 1 is also kind of new player friendly because there's so many like mega guilds that have like little mini guilds that help new players. And I feel like the helping new player guilds are actually more prevalent on PC mobile compared to on Switch. But like Switch has only been out for 3 years, so it's like the youngest of them. The PC mobile has the biggest player base, and the other consoles would mostly be for convenience if you play on the console versions. Well, I'm slightly biased since I do play the PC mobile version. Though it can be a bit intimidating because it does have the biggest player base. And most of them have been active for years. Though there are plenty of new players that still come in. But Gems of War is definitely like one of those long-term games. Like if someone's playing it, they're playing it for like years upon years. Because it's not like one of those games that you would play for maybe like, you know, like 100 hours and then put it down. Gems of War goes way longer than that. Actually, how many hours are we up to? Isn't it almost 14 million? I mean, 14 million. I mean, 14,000. Could you imagine 14 million? Gosh. Actually, how even long even is 14 million? Isn't that even longer than a lifetime? I meant 14,000 hours. Yeah, Switch has a really odd patch schedule. It's actually the reason I don't play on Switch. Well, there's two reasons. One is it's not PC mobile platform cross, or, you know, it's not cross-platform with PC mobile. Because if it was, I would actually kind of prefer playing with a controller on it. Like, there's some things you can kind of do quicker on it. Like, there are some advantages to using controller, like controller-only setups. Some things are slower, but there's also quite a few things that are actually substantially quicker. But, yeah, it's like a year behind the Switch version. Like, it's a weird combination of, like, a few months to half a year to a year behind. Like, some things are, like, up to date, then other things are a few months behind, and other things are, like, upwards of a year behind. It's really weird. It's definitely the weirdest version of the game. Yeah, I feel like it's still very doable to start over in Gems of War. They've been adding more and more new player-friendly stuff. Actually, even the most recent patch kind of added like a new path that you can do to kind of help you along in the new player stuff. I believe it gives you a reward up to level 100. It also is like a thing you could buy at the end. It's not really worth buying it, but it gives some extra rewards to newer players and kind of guides through a lot of the mechanics in the game. Like, I think it tries to teach you pretty much everything about the game. Like all the resources and stuff like that. Because gosh, there are a lot of them. I'm not sure how effective it is at doing it because I've never bothered starting a new account to kind of check it through the whole process. That is something they added in the most recent patch about a month ago. We've started multiple new free-to-play accounts in the past as well. We haven't done it for a couple years. The last new account we ever made was on the Switch like 3 years ago. And I haven't actually made a new account since then. It was a series we kind of did on the channel quite a bit in the past. I'm not sure if we're ever going to bring it back. We'll see. It's just really time-consuming. And any account we generally do for it, we tend to not do above like 100-ish hours or so. Because otherwise it just gets way too time-consuming to do it. The one kind of funny thing is on every alt account I've ever had, even the ones we only ran for like a month, we've gotten a mythic on every single one of them. I think my Switch account ended up getting like 20-something mythics as well in like a month. We got really lucky. Though we were in one of the best guilds in the game at the time. Even though the game just started, we were in like the #1 guild. So that one's a little bit biased. But even when we were in average guilds, we were still getting like a few mythics on each one. Which is kind of interesting when you get a mythic in early game. Because like your entire build for like everything starts to get centered around it. Like obviously you can run Rowan through a lot of things, as you would at any point within the game, once you get it from Forest of Thorns. But a lot of like your really good teams, unless you get like Tesla or something else. Speaking of which, Tesla's in drop table right now for another like 6 hours. Tesla and Ironhawk, super good pickups. Both in the event key drop table for another 6 hours today. Fortunately, it will be a while before they rotate back around, though. But most early game teams tend to be structured around like the first few mythics or really good legends you get. Otherwise, you tend to use a Rowan for a while. That or Mang. Mang's a really good new player option. The only problem is I feel like a lot of newer players don't... Like, when they see Mang, they might just see it like another weapon. And might not realize it's like the best weapon in the entire game. Like Mang, Black Manacles, and Mountain Crusher, I think are like the 3 best automatic level up weapons that you get. Mountain Crusher is basically like all those explodey weapons we've been getting. It was like the OG original one. Black Manacles is just a really good armor tier option that allows you to scale attack regardless of what your enemy is. It scales your attack pretty much up to their durability. And Black Manacles, if it lands a Devourer, is pretty much auto-win in any battle that does so. And even if it doesn't Devour, it's just a standard good AoE option. It's a little bit underwhelming damage-wise in early game, but if it lands Devourer, it's still really good. I'll catch you later, Godzilla. Have a good time. Yeah, we've been needing to cover like more new player guides. I don't feel like I have been as much lately. I have been noticing like almost every single week, like on our stream, someone mentioning, "Oh, I'm coming back to the game. What changed?" It's just a really hard topic to cover because there's a lot of things that happened. Like that was me kind of just going over the last year, and we're still talking about it. But if we were to go over like what happened in the last 3 years, there's just so many things that has happened. Because if you think about it, tokens didn't even exist 3 years ago. They're actually that new. Like, you wouldn't really think of tokens as a new mechanic because it's something that, like, is such a big part of the current state of the game that, Like, it's hard to think of the game without it, but it was added like 2.5 years ago. Oh, you did my time math? 14 million hours is, oh gosh, yeah, it's over 1,600 years. That's kind of funny. That is kind of funny. So we've just been getting a lot of curse gnomes all of a sudden. You know what? This one's good enough to stall on. We'll take a quick water break. Stay hydrated. I see a curse gnome. We haven't been stopping on them. Plus there's a glory gnome in there. What do you think of the new battle pass mythic? Oh, it's really bad. You kind of think it is oh yeah, it's really bad. Since it does almost nothing. Yep, that's pretty much what it does. Is almost nothing. Honestly, everything in the battle passes season, ultra bad options. I still got it, but so we can go over everything. But it's pretty bad. Like, if there was ever a skippable season, this one's pretty close to doing so. Like, this season's really bad loot. There's a chance they rework it, though. Like, some of the options there. But based on what they currently say, everything currently available in the season pass is really, really bad this season. Even the power gem is. Like, the explosion thing. It's really underwhelming what it does. This doesn't do that much. Oh, you know what I had today for dinner? I actually got from a friend. Some kind of like dumpling thing from California. Like, I'd never like seen it like that before. Gosh, were they so good. Or like some kind of ginger sauce thing. Didn't care for the sauce as much, but the dumplings themselves were some of the best dumplings I've ever had. They knew of a place down there and it's like so good. Alright, we're almost good to go. I can still taste it in my mouth too. But mostly because I had it like right before we started this stream. Or at least I finished them anyways. I was eating them for like an hour because I eat so slow sometimes. It's kind of weird because sometimes I eat and I finish in like 5 minutes. Then other times it takes me like an hour or two to finish my meal. Even if it's like the same portion, it's just sometimes I eat way quicker than other times. Alright, there we go. 13 curse runes. Though one thing that's done really good in a certain location, I always love Maryland crab cakes. Like every single time I ever go through there, there was a place called Timbuktu that has some of the best crab cakes I've ever had. I believe they ship not internationally, but like across the states as well. I've never bothered ordering anything that way because I'm not sure how you know, how exactly that would even work. But supposedly they do it. Like, I feel like it wouldn't be as fresh that way. Yeah, this season's options are really bad. Like, there's not a single thing that's good. The weapon's bad. The power gem is bad. The mythic's bad. The tarot card is, honestly, the tarot card might be the strongest option. That's how bad everything is. The tarot card might legitimately be the best option that you get from the season pass. Like, the tarot card's not good, but it at least has a use purpose. Breakfast burrito dumplings? No. Actually, they were in the weirdest shape I've ever seen dumplings be in as well. I'm not sure how to exactly describe it. Like, the way that they're pinched, like, you know, like, all dumplings are kind of pinched in order to, like, you know, hold everything in and everything. But, the way that the spiral was on it was just a lot weirder. Because I've never seen it in, like, such an exact shape. Though anytime I have food like that, it reminds me like, oh, I need to go like eat a higher variety of food. Because there's some food out there that's like so elaborate. And while I have had quite a decent variety of food, I haven't had like that much. Like from other cultures and stuff like that, I've had like a very low variety. As far as eating at different places, I've had quite a few in the past though. It's just hard to do these days. Like too perfect, like a pyramid. Like it almost looks like they're handmade, but it almost looks like a machine did it. It's like that kind of thing, but like a really perfect one. It's I don't know, how do I describe it? It's like a circular thing, but it almost has like a flower shape on the other side, like a very perfectly even shaped pinch, which you can do by hand. Like I can see how you would get it to that point. It's just kind of weird how perfect each one is, like identical to each other. At least pretty identical. Though you do tend to make a lot of them when you end up making them. So they could just be like so good at the repetition that it comes out like nearly the same each time. I should have taken a picture of it. Like, if you saw it, you would understand what I'm trying to say. I forgot to take a picture of it, though. I normally don't take pictures of my food, obviously. Let's see. Yeah, I got some gems from the little guy. Oh, hello, Philopix. Hey, the devs of the game are actually from Australia, if you didn't already know. But Infinity Plus 2, the main development team of this game, they're based in Australia. What's the time where I am? Oh, it's currently 9:06 p.m. Yeah, we tend to stream around this time about 1 hour prior to now every single night. Which for some time zones is a bit of a weird time. But the video of it's always posted after the fact, if we're going over something relevant on a given day. Like tomorrow, every Monday, we go over all the chapter tasks, as well as mess around with any new features. Like, for example, we'll probably be messing with the new Glory Troop on stream tomorrow. Normally, that's not something we'd necessarily do, like mess with the new Glory Troop, but it's actually a pretty relevant one this time. Or at least I feel like it does. Once we actually start using it, it might seem a little bit less relevant. But, I don't know, Double Convert has a lot of potential off of 12 mana cost. And the fact that it does it 100% consistently every time is actually pretty interesting. Because I know they've experimented around with some other lower mana cost stuff, but quite a few of them were conditional. And I don't think any of them had a natural half mana start to go with it, which is kind of interesting. Because that obviously makes it so you don't have to use your own 50% mana start. Which is good because the typing that it is wouldn't really be able to do much with that because it's a mech beast. And while both of those do have a half mana start, it wouldn't really be able to be structured in any of those two teams for the most part. Because it's mostly a red-yellow counter team. Oh, he said Austria, not Australia. Oh, my bad. I didn't see. I definitely thought this said Australia. My bad. I didn't notice. Isabel caught it. Whoops. I definitely thought that was Australia. I saw the beginning of the word and I'm like, autofill. Brain autofilled the rest incorrectly. Hello, Michael. Welcome. You've just started the game and can't decide on Celestigo versus Dragon Armor. Dragon Armor. Main reason for this is, well, both are useful. Dragon armor will help you get all your kingdoms to level 10, if you haven't already. It also helps you get into a slightly better guild, or be able to do a better guild requirement. Because one thing that you'll want to do is try to get into a decent gold requirement guild, so that you can get a lot of free rewards every single week. Even if you're playing a bit more casually, this is still a good idea to do, if you have gold reserve. And if you can get level 10 all kingdoms, which is one of the bigger early game gold expenses, and then get into a decent guild that's around your gold rate per week, you can get a lot of loot that way. And the loot that you would get from the guild would outweigh the benefit of the souls from the celestial armor. There's also a Death Knight armor that is currently paid walled. I think it's like 20 bucks, 25 or something. They end up lowering its price. It used to be 50, but you get less in the pack, but it's mostly done for the armor anyways. But that actually makes it so you don't need to get dragon armor nor celestial armor, but it's not free. So if you're playing free to play, definitely go dragon armor then celestial armor. I would say dragon armor is almost always worth getting first. And it's mostly because long term you're always going to need gold as well. Whereas you do eventually reach a point where you don't use souls as much. Because their main purpose of souls is upgrading troops. But you do reach a point where you don't necessarily need to upgrade as many more troops. Or you've already upgraded every troop. In which case you go more so for meddling, but that's the whole thing way later in the game. But dragon armor is normally the way to go. You do switch between both of them quite regularly as a free-to-play player. But I feel like 90% of the time you stick with dragon armor. Because you can soul farm off of events like this. Like when there's a vault weekend like right now. You can just simply farm off of soul gnomes. Like I haven't actually soul farmed in probably like 3 years in this game. Like 3 or 4 years. Because there's been so many alternative ways to get souls that don't even need your celestial armor bonus. You do eventually want to end up getting it though, but I feel like increasingly it has been less and less relevant compared to dragon armor. Yeah, no problem. That was your first most common mistake when you first learned English in the school, while autofilling words, thinking that you know what it is and then not realizing that it was something else. There's a couple words. I don't do that for a lot of words, but there are a few of them where I see the first few letters and I see the length of the word, and my brain's like, okay, this is this word. But then sometimes it's not, because there's some few exceptions where it's not. I never noticed the DLC other stuff on the Steam user uses the old card art. Does it? Some of them were posted around that time, so that would make sense. None of them are really that worth it, though. Though we do have the Steam exclusive pet. Actually, Isabel bought it for us a while back. She also got us the Android one. The Android one has never been on a sale. The Steam one goes on sale pretty regularly, though. But I don't think the Android one has ever been cheaper than $50, which I do not advise getting for that price. But for completionist purposes, if you really, really want it. Where is it? Actually, we even named it after her. Let's see. Where is our Android bot? Somewhere's in here. Does it not show up anymore for on Steam? What if we play on the mobile version? I'm pretty sure it still shows up. Oh, there it is. Yeah, the Isabot. Which is also a funny joke, because some people think Isabel's a bot sometimes. Because she normally posts to Discord and some other things. But, yeah, that's tied as the most expensive pet in the game. And it is actually possible to have that one on the Steam version, since you could just link your Android account. And then you have both. But it's the most expensive pet in the game. I would not advise getting it. Though it's technically one of the rarest pets if you want to flex a pet somewhere. Because I'm pretty sure it's the most unobtained pet in the game, mostly because of its cost. It's definitely not worth it, though. It's more so a vanity item if you really wanted it. Or if you wanted to go for true ultra completion. It actually doesn't even count as a pet. Like, if you don't own it and you click on owned, like if you have every pet in the game, or you try looking for it under unowned, you won't even see it. Even on the Android version, you won't see it. Like if you do this on the Steam version, you won't see the Steam pet. And if you do it on the Android version, you won't see the Android pet. But it basically counts as extra pet to such a degree where, if I'm not mistaken, my pets actually show as one above. The reason for this is it doesn't even recognize the Android pet as being on Steam. Though oddly enough, it does count the Steam one, I guess. But it doesn't count the Android one. So we actually have one above the max, which is kind of funny. But we actually have one above the max. That's possible. And the only trooper missing is the Horde Mimic. Oh yeah, one of the weapons I'm missing is one I forgot when I was on my December trip. Seeing family, I actually forgot to get it. The other one's a money locked one that I'll be getting when it's free. Because I didn't want to spend 10 bucks for it. I think it was 10 bucks and it went to 5. And you eventually get it for free whenever Nexus rolls back around. The only problem is Nexus hasn't rolled back around yet, the Nexus faction. So I still haven't been able to get it. Because it's a really useless weapon, so no need to have it early. Gosh, I'm not sure what's going on, but I've been getting the most absurd verse 2 luck lately. Is it getting close to not being our lowest verse anymore? Because I'd be kind of surprised if it wasn't. Yeah, look, it's only a 17 gap now. The difference between these two was as high as 30. Though it was also as low as 3. There was one point where the gap between these two was 3. Currently it's 17. So it originally went through like a really bad luck spree. Then got like really lucky, then got unlucky for a while, and now it's starting to get lucky again. So who knows, maybe we'll finally catch up. Because the lowest gap was around 3, the biggest was 30, and now it's at 17. So it's getting there. It's halfway there. It's making progress. Do you know when the warband deals rotate? They rotate whenever they feel like rotating them, and we have no clue when it is. If it's only ever happened one singular time, so we really have no way of telling when on earth it's going to happen again. Though it probably would happen around the time of a patch. And they already did the beta testing start. I haven't been in contact with any of the beta people this time around though. But they got people for it the other week. So I assume the patch is in about a month from now or so. Probably like really late this month, early May. Like really late April, early May probably. Are they going to be doing a warband then? I have no clue if they're going to do a warband rotation. But it would definitely be around the time of a patch. And next patch is late this month or early next month, most likely. That doesn't mean they're going to rotate it then, though. Though that's the earliest time when it would happen is next patch. But yeah, currently it is only rotated once. And there are currently 2 warbands that if you did not get prior to the first rotation, they're actually impossible to get at the moment. They will eventually rotate back around, but we have no clue when that is. But yeah, of the 7 warband banners, 2 of them are unobtainable if you don't currently have them. Though they will be back at some point, whenever they feel like it. I wish it would rotate on some kind of schedule. Like if they're going to add like 2 or 3 more warbands, which would mean like a 9 or you know 4 or 5 of them are not available. I really hope they do like some kind of schedule for them. Ooh, a Cursed Gnome in the wild, nice. Hopefully it gives us like 15. But I hope they start running some kind of... Oh gosh, it gave the worst possible drop. Still good though. But I hope they do some kind of rotation where like every month or so they rotate which ones exist. Because if they had 10, they could do that pretty easily. Like for 1 month have those 5 and then the next month have the other 5. So I hope when they do add more it's 3, but then they start a rotating system off of it. It's a really weird mechanic, the whole warband thing. Like, it was meant to help newer players, but it was, like, near impossible for, like, veteran players to get. Because one of the main currencies for them was war coins. But you only get war coins when you complete out a kingdom. But anyone who already completed out the kingdoms do not get any war coins for them. So basically, like, paywalled for veteran players, all these warband things. Which is rather ironic, because new players could get them so absurdly easy, just by completing out all the kingdoms. Because getting at all warbands... like, you're going to have so much excess as a newer player. Because I believe you get, like, 15 per kingdom. And there's 35 kingdoms. Which is enough to get every warband in existence and still have some left over. Because there's 7 warbands, that's 350 coins. And between all the kingdoms, you're getting 525, right? Did I do the math right? You're gonna have 175 left over, basically, is the bottom line. Or somewhere's around there. Which means they could add another 3 warbands, and if you completed all the kingdoms as a new player, you'd still have warbands left over, even if they added another 3. Or war coins left over, I mean not warbands. The things themselves that you buy are warbands. The currency you use for them is called war coins. Hey, there's a verse that isn't verse 2. Starting to think verse 2 was the only thing we could get, though I would prefer it that way because we definitely need them. Also, this stream I've been going a lot more for the vault farming this time around. Probably because we only have it for a few more hours. Not sure how much longer I'll go for though. Given that my sleep schedule has kind of been back to normal, I'm already kind of tired. Because I've been sleeping a lot more normally, where I go to bed at like, normally by like 11-ish. And then actually wake up in a reasonable hour that isn't like past noon. Which has kind of been happening a lot in the past. Guess we're getting all the verses. Oh no, I can't kill it. That's the only thing that's bad about this team. You can't kill a mythic. Or most mythics anyways. It's normally not too big a deal though. They're really short on verse 3s. 25 or 30 less than your other verses. Ouch. Yeah, it happens sometimes. I wish there was a way to target specific verses, though. Like to cover the gap. Quite literally. For Nomapalooza. Haha. I always find it funny using the word gap when referring to them. Because so many people abbreviate it like that, even though I don't ever do it. Oh yeah, we never did hand out a code, did we? We should probably hand out a code. I didn't really have a thing to hand it out based on. So yeah, here's a code. We could do that. Codes are a thing. 1 second. Oh gosh, I forgot to delete the one that I gave to Supplement the other day for his birthday. I'm surprised we didn't see him today. I guess he partied too hard today for his birthday. He's probably passed out somewheres. Let's see. Put that in there. Grab all that. But there you guys go. There is a redeem code. Use it on gemsofwar.com for the game code section. Your invite code is found in your settings menu. Redeem code's right over there in chat. Copy paste random numbers and letters started with 4J. And give same word as always. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,000 brown gold. There you guys go. Claim it quickly or you might miss out on some of that vault loot. Because during a vault week, like the amount of time that it takes to actually open the code is almost the amount of time that you would get just from farming the gnomes because they give so much loot. Definitely don't do it if you're midway through a Palooza, that's for sure. Because the main loot in it, of course, is 1 gem key. However, one Vault key is worth more than one gem key. Normally. There are some times where it could be pretty unlucky and not be the case. Oops, not what I wanted. Oh gosh, I hate when it does that. 1 second. Was there anything I hate about that one thing? Though it's easy to bring back. There we go. That was my extra chat window collapsing. That ding noise. There's just one on the new program I use that brings up the YouTube chat. I normally don't look at that one because I'm so used to using my current setup, but it does have one. And yes, as NASA mentioned, definitely feel free to leave a like on the stream. Helps a lot and is greatly appreciated. If anyone still has any other questions, do let me know. Because I think I might wrap up soonish. And then we'll continue the Mimic Hunt next week. Let's see, how many pity keys did we get this week? I think we're going to hit 13 or 14. Oh no, 16. I guess that's not too bad. Could be better though. Could be way better. Someone's probably looking at that with like a stack of 89 pity keys. As we got like 16. Because that can end up being a really big number. If you ran a lot of Paloozas during a Vault week, you can get a very, very high amount of pity keys. It starts to have a diminishing return. Like, you can reach a point where you have to do like 2 Paloozas just to get 1 pity key. Which take a half an hour. Yeah, having both Dragon Armor and Celestial Armor, I feel like is increasingly less relevant as time goes on, just because of how much better Dragon Armor is. Because upwards of 90% of the time, you're pretty much just always running Dragon Armor. Oh, never mind. You were referring to something else. Let's see. You'll soon have 8 orbs of might. Oh, yeah. You go Zugoff. Sorry. My bad. That was for a different question. I read the beginning of this sentence and thought it was for the other thing. But, yeah. Definitely go Zugoff. Like, you use Zugoff way, way more. Like, in Rage Karendera, you only ever use as, like, an ultra situational curse option, with other curses normally being better than it. Whereas Zugoff, I feel like I use literally every day. Because it's one of the best Explore 12 options in the game. But yeah, I highly, highly, highly advise getting Zugoff. Like, that's the main thing you should be using your power orbs on. You do eventually want to get in Rage Karendera, but it's really low priority. Zugoff's just such a good mythic. It's one of the best troops in the entire game. It's definitely top 10. Whereas in Rage Karendera is like a, not even top 20 support option. If you count like all troops in the entire game. If you count just like mythics, it probably makes top 20 support options for mythics. But if you're talking like every troop in the game, I don't even think it makes top 20. Whereas Zugoff could be like definitively like top 10 best overall troops in the game. As it's used mostly for triple damage burning skull spam teams, particularly in Explore 12. But it can be incorporated in quite a wide range of teams. The triple damage burning is probably the most relevant mechanic for it, because it creates both skulls while giving you the burn, while also giving freeze to make sure they don't go out of control in case it does miss. What is the best non-support troop in the game? What do you mean non-support? Like damage-wise? It depends on what you're doing specifically. Because it also depends on how you look at Ironhawk. Like, is Ironhawk a support troop? Because if you're talking, like, resource-wise, Ironhawk could be considered one of the best troops in the entire game. If you're looking at how much value does the troop give you relative to what it costs. Like, double Ironhawk is probably the highest value thing in the entire game. But it really depends on what parameter you're looking at it by. Because obviously double Ironhawk is not good against strong battles. But from a value perspective, it's the best value in the game. of cost of getting troop relative to of what you receive back for the duration of using the troop. From a damage perspective, it also depends what exactly you're doing, but it would probably be Zhugoff. Like, Zhugoff could potentially be considered the best damage option in the game. Its damage option is more so based on synergy, though. Because if you're not using triple damage burning, it's a lot less effective using a Zhugoff, but there are still some non-burning teams that use Zhugoff. But he has maximum damage when he's in a triple damage burning team. But it's not necessarily him who's doing the triple damage burning. Like, if you think about it, it's like a double troop combo. If you just think of Zhugoff's isolated damage, he might not technically be the highest damage source, but if you consider him in like a full team competition, he's arguably one of the highest damage options in the entire game. Because if you get really lucky, you win Explore 12 in like 10 seconds with one Zhugoff cast. Though it's not him doing all the work. The other half of the work's being done by the triple damage burning option. But he's the one who's making it possible to do that triple damage burning. So I'm not sure if you would even consider him a support troop in that regard. He's instantly killing something, so that's not really a support-like thing. And he's also giving the skulls to win, and the burn to win. But it's your other troop that's theoretically killing everything else. Like in an average Zhugoff build, theoretically your triple damage burning is killing 3 and your Zhugoff's killing 1 or 2. Which theoretically means that it is not the one doing the most damage, but is the one who's making it possible for you to do the most damage. When can you see it, a redeem code? Oh, I posted into chat. It's this one right here. If you scroll up, you can see it, but it's also there. Unless you can't see things that have a link in it, because I did post it with a link. So I'm not sure if it might be getting blocked. It shouldn't be, it's my own channel. Like if you guys try to post a link, it'll get blocked. But if I try posting a link, it shouldn't. It should be visible. Oh, if it says it doesn't exist, make sure there's not an extra space. Sometimes when you copy paste stuff, particularly from YouTube, it has like an extra space at the beginning or the end, particularly the end. So click backspace once and check. Because sometimes it adds an extra space at the end or something. And if there is, then it doesn't, it says it's invalid. If there's a random space anywhere in it. I still can't get over how quick this wins. This isn't even the quickest variant, either. There's also the one cast variant. The problem with the one cast variant is you can't run it during a Palooza, because they have enough durability where that's not going to work. There's also a few more instances where they can survive, like a Soul Gnome replacing a Legendary. Because it has enough durability to survive, I believe, with 1 HP. Or is the 25 damage build would still kill it. But a 20 damage build like this wouldn't. It makes it so you click less though. It's also ever so slightly quicker. Well, obviously because you're casting one thing instead of 2. But if you click very, very quickly, it wastes almost no time running to 2. Seriously, I've been doing so good on verse 2. How do we still keep getting them? But honestly, at this rate, we're never gonna need another verse 2 again. If like the next like 2 vault events give us the same rate of like verse 2 luck that I have been getting, it might become our most common verse at the current rate it's been going. It's getting there. Nothing else. We don't need to worry about it running out anytime soon. But anyways, guys, does anyone else have any other questions? Anyone want me to go over? Otherwise, I do believe I'm going to be calling it a night. We will hopefully have the video for tomorrow up pretty early. Or at least that is the goal anyways. Or sure hope so. But we'll be doing that. And going over all the Soul Forge, the weekly stuff, the new troop, which is actually relevant for once. And all that. Aside from that, of course, we stream every single night, same time as always, an hour and a half prior to now tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll mostly be doing the Chapter 2 tasks for Campaign 9 of Gems of War, while also messing around with the new Glory Troop, as it is actually going to be relevant for once. I do feel like it personally has a decent amount of potential. I say that now, we'll see exactly what teams it can end up being used in. But it definitely seems like the premise of it has good usability. Compared to like an Empower will end up being better, possibly not, but I don't know, there's some quirky builds you can end up doing with it. It's definitely not a bad troop, that's for sure. Like how overly viable it is questionable, because it might just end up being like overall average. But it's a gimmick worth messing around with. A 6 mana cost double converter. Or at least for its first cast anyways. But it feeds back into itself, so realistically it only is a 6 mana cost. Because after it casts once, it's pretty much just getting all of its mana back anyways. Though it might have a bit of a Yagway problem, where like it gets a really good first cast and then it changes into a second cast, but then after that it can't really do much. Because that might end up happening with this converter, where, you know, it converts once, it converts the second time, and then it has nothing it can do because there's no value left on the board for it to take. Because that's an issue that the troop could end up having ultimately. Well, we'll see. Is it a good idea to be buying the daily offer deeds to craft books? That's situational. It depends really heavily on how many gems you have. Oddly enough, I actually don't, despite how many gems we have. There's some people that might. I personally don't. We might need to pull it someday on stream. I'm actually curious what that number is. Like if people just buy only purple, or if they buy all of them, or if they buy none of them. Or well, I would probably have 4 options. Like, do you buy all of them? Do you buy only purple? Do you buy it like ever so occasionally? And do you not buy it at all? I feel like I'm in the not buy it at all category. You should always buy every Imperial you see, 100% of the time. But colored deed books are very, very situational on if it's worth it. Because if you break down the full amount of cost for a single full deed book thing, or, you know, when you upgrade it to the bigger one, I think it's like 7,500 gems or something. Like, it's a really absurdly high amount. And if you break it down that way, it seems not really that worth it. Because just for a couple deed books, you're already going through tens of thousands of gems. So I personally skip on it. Though we should pull it soon, because I am curious what it would come down to. Not this stream though, since we're pretty much ending it now. But we should probably pull that at some point, because I am really curious what the breakdown comes to. We need to have a lot of gems for it to always be worth it though. Some people might only go for purple because those are purple kingdoms, or, you know, magic kingdoms, so those are a bit more relevant. And I would say Imperials are always worth it, though some people may say otherwise. But I'm pretty sure Imperial is always worth it though. It's 500 gems for 1 Imperial, which is pretty good value. However, the amount of gems you need to get 1 single deed book is just so high. Like, if they had a deed book simply for like 1,000 gems or 2,000 gems, I'd probably say it's worth it. But the current rates cost like a little over 7,500, I think it is, which is way too much for a single colored deed book, if you break it down that way. You buy every purple and every green. Yeah, technically every green is worth it to try to get Zolkari up as well, because up to the very first one, it has the same value as doing a what's it called? It has the same value as doing a Magic Kingdom, because it is a Magic Kingdom. It has the same value as purple for the very first kingdom, because it is the only non-purple kingdom that has a +1 magic, which makes sense. Like, if I was to convert all mine, I'd have 9 of them, meaning I would still need a 21 more green deed books in order to get a magic bonus here. That's just so many. If you break that down, so let's go break it down real quick. So if I was to keep buying green scrolls until I had this, we would have to take our well, first let's figure out how much we need for a book. So we'd have to take 300 divide it by 2, that's 150. So every single one of those scrolls costs 150 when you get off the daily, because they give you 2 for 300. So that's 150 gems per scroll. How many do you need? 50 or 100? Isn't it 50? Let me double check. How many do you need to craft a TeeDuk again? Pretty sure it was 50. Yeah, you need 50 to craft a TeeDuk. So we take that number and then times it by 50. And that's how much it is, 7,500. Okay, so it is correct. And then we times that by, what, 29? How many do I need? So I currently need... what am I looking for here? Power. No, not power. Level. So I currently need 25 more. If you count that, I technically need 21 more. So we'd have to take 21 times 7,500. So if I was to keep buying green deeds every single time I see green deeds in order to try to get this kingdom maxed, it would require an additional 157,500 gems. So over 150,000 gems to upgrade one kingdom just from where we are. That's not even the full cost. Just from the current state that we're at with this many loots, it would cost 150,000 gems, which is why I do not consider it worth it. And that's for one kingdom. If we did it for both green and purple, we're talking upwards of 300,000 gems. And obviously this is over the course of a very, very, very long time. That's just not worth it. I'd rather just wait until there's like a better way to kind of get them in game and just hopefully save the gems for something else. Because unless you have a very, very, very high amount of gems, like I'm talking like almost over 100,000, I do not personally feel like it's worth it. Unless you're taking tribute like 16, like a dozen plus times per day, while also having a good gem reserve. Like unless you're in that category, I do not feel like they're that worth it. Just because if you break down the full gem cost, it is so absurd when you break it down that way. Anyways, guys, I'm going to catch you guys later. Thank you so much for stopping by, as always. Greatly appreciated. We'll be back tomorrow night, as I mentioned. Hour and a half prior to now tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we always do. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. If you still want to farm the Vault event, don't forget to do so. You still have another 5 hours. And the most important thing to not forget is, don't forget, right now for the next 5 hours, a Donna drop table still around. You can get Ironhawk, which is really good for farming Vault events. If you weren't able to use it this Vault weekend, well, you could do it for whatever the next one is. But that's still available for the next couple hours. The other thing that's still available there is a Tesla. So if you're a newer player and you want to pick up a Tesla, if you haven't already gotten it, really strong option. Highly advise picking up. Really great for running through the entire game. Anyways, guys, and those will last for about another 5 hours. And then we'll go to next week. And we'll be back then for a video going over all the things that we normally do. Thank you so much for stopping by, everyone. Catch you guys soon, and goodbye.